Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2020 Talk Show, the talk show that puts the spotlight on you. Right. I'm Rotarian Sandeep Ohri, and I thank you for joining me. As a child, I always remember my mother reminding me that there's always some good in people, and that we need to learn to be able to see that what that good is. I didn't really realize the significance of what she said till I really went through some very difficult times some time back, and you get to that stage where you question the meaning of life and your purpose here on earth. But anyway, this program is not about me. I've been blessed to have the good fortune of meeting some wonderful people who I believe have some fascinating stories to share about their own lives, which may serve to inspire, motivate, and teach the rest of us a few good things to make our own lives better. These people, they go about their lives unassuming, and on their faces, they don't show what they've been through. Some of their stories have probably never been shared in public before, and some of them are even appearing on screen for the first time. I'm very excited to introduce our first guest, a girl who, after finishing her college, told her father she'd do nothing but Kathak, the youngest of six children, who swore never to get married so that she'd be able to look after her parents. She taught dancing to school children, worked in a travel agency, at a share market consultancy, in an automobile showroom, acted on stage, been a receptionist in a government department, also designed their website, and is now making her way up the corporate ladder. I met her about 14 years back when I was extremely angry about an issue. We'll talk about that later. But now it's my privilege to introduce to you Prajakta Wadke. Hello, Prajakta.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for agreeing to share your story with us. Prajakta,
So,
there's no need to be nervous. Yeah.
thank
We
you,
are only
sir.
live on we are only live on Facebook and Twitter, and this program will reach a few thousand people in less than 24 hours, but don't let that bother you. Okay. So to make it easier, I'll ask you the questions. Okay. Oh, while
Yes.
introducing you, I mentioned all the different jobs that you did. Did I miss any job? So
Yeah.
tell us about the different jobs that you've done.
So, I have worked for a bank. My first job is actually that was a temporary job after my graduation. Then I worked for a travel agency. I did my travel tourism course, a crash course from IRTC, and that was again I worked for Indian Airlines for a short while. Then I worked as a ground hostess, and then I worked as a domestic counter staff, international counter staff. Then I worked in a principal pharmaceutical chemicals limited as a secretary to CS, and then I also worked for automobile industry as a customer care executive, and then I after 6 months, 4 months, 8 months, like, and then I joined MERC, that was Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory Commission, government job, and after working there for almost 11 years, I joined Tadapa.
Wow, that is one big long story of doing different jobs.
Yeah.
Tell me, yeah, because you've done very wide variety of jobs, how easy or how difficult was it for you to switch between different jobs?
I
Did you
never
did you find it personally? Did you find it easy or difficult? I mean, what's your personal experience?
So I never find it difficult because that age when I was getting the jobs, my main intention was to earn money, only money. I was not thinking from any other perspective. So I was switching off the job very easily if my bosses are not agreeing to it or not paying me salary on time or there are some issues with the office or anything. I used to just switch off the job and change. And luckily, I used to get another job very fast. So that was not very difficult for me that time. But by switching off from government to private in corporate, that was a big challenge because
Yeah.
everybody was calling me a fool that you are leaving a government permanent job and going
Yeah.
to corporate. I
Yeah.
said
So
I
yeah,
want to do something,
yeah.
so I need to corporate.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. Complete it.
So, sir, I decided if I have to compete with the new generation with my BCom degree, I will not be able to do that. So, I need to do
Okay.
my MBA.
Yeah.
So,
So we.
first
Yeah.
I prepared myself for doing the MBA. That was again
Mhm.
a challenge because I was already married with my 6-year-old child at home. and
Yeah.
my
Okay. Let me just stop you here for a minute.
yes,
Uh, uh, Tell me, you've been working for now what, maybe 25, 27 years now?
25
Yeah,
years. So yeah.
25 years now. Okay, great. You, before we get into your job and what all happened over there, you tell us about your passion for dancing. Okay, why
Oh,
why why Kathak? When did you start? Under whom did you learn? How long did you do it? So just tell us about it.
the Kathak it started when I was child, and my I was at I stayed at Bandra, and there was a children complex which is still there now, and there was a dance classes, and I used to go there the children complex. That's a National Society for Clean Cities of India for all children, and there used to held summer camps that time. So I used to take part in summer camps, and I used to take part in all the activities along with the dance. And there I met this Rama Devi Lachu Maharaj. She's my guru. She's no more now. But she told me that you have that passion to dance. And my sister also used to learn there, elder sisters and all. So I started dancing. And then she told me that you are a good dancer and you can pursue this as a career also. But being into middle class family, paying 10 rupees fees also, my father was not willing to send me. And he said, no, no, you should consider my studies. But I was very determined. I always wanted to dance. And Kathak was such a beautiful dance, and it is still like, my passion. And whenever, as and when I get time, I do it. So I started learning, and then there was problems like when I was in 10th standard and then 9th standard studies, then sometimes marriages at home. I could not give my exams, but somehow I managed, and then I started giving exams, and I completed my Vishara degree. So that
So how many years did you actually learn dancing? How long did
that
it last?
exam 7 years, and actually learning for more than 12, 15 years. 15 years.
12, 15 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. So this went through this went on while you were in college also.
So yeah, after when I was in college, I was associated with few this organizations where they were conducting some programs like on charitable shows and all. So I used to take part in that, and there I used to dance. Then I used to do plays also, Marathi, Hindi play bhi kiya, and that was very
Wow.
good. So all those things are like very much inspiring for me, and I was very happy with that, and I was earning also a little bit. So I told my parents that I want to do only dance, dance. So job kya karna hai? Because I was the youngest one out of six. So I said my parents that I don't want to do the job. I'll be doing only dancing. But एक साल बाद फिर जॉब करनी पड़ी सर.
So your parents were okay with they indulged you and they said yes, you can continue to do dancing, but they knew that you'd probably get a job and do that also.
Yeah, they were happy, but then they still said, no, no, job is like, you earn good money. This is like
Uh-huh.
very time. I was earning very little, sir, just 100, 200 rupees. So that was not sufficient. Then I had to get salary. Then luckily I got a job in Reliance Consultancy Services. That was also my job. Then there it was very good, but still the dance passion that was always there in my mind. I want to do something
So,
in that.
so it's like this. If somebody were to tell you that here's an option you have now, you can quit your job and everything and all, and we'll allow you to dance.
Oh,
So
that would be very good, sir.
that's
I
very
will
good.
leave everything aside. I'll start my own dance academy and
Yeah,
start dancing. But उतना
yeah,
पैसा मिलना चाहिए. I should earn also.
yeah, absolutely. So I understand that. Sometimes God is kind that you end up doing what you like, and you also end up earning the money, and having that pay the bills also. Okay. Tell us about the time that you got your job as a receptionist in a government department. Yeah. So did you actually consciously say that no, I will go and join a government company, and I will work in a government organization, because before that all your jobs had been in private organizations.
Correct, correct.
So was it out of intent or it just happened?
So it just happened. It was not out of intent. In fact, I was hating to do any government job. My sister-in-laws, they were all into government. So they said, "Ki, it is a government job. You just cannot say no. At least go and give a try." I was not even interested to go for the receptionist post because I was not having the basic qualification. I was not inclined to do. Means I was not having any interest for doing that. But still, I said, "Ki, let's see if it's a government job, how to do it." So, and when I went there, it was so different, and it was very difficult also. to get that job that time, because there was a lot of competition. There was many applications. They have received, I think, almost 300 people had applied, and luckily I got the job. And that the whole day I was there, and after interviews, aptitude test, and all that, I got it, sir. And then there was no looking back. Then I thought it's a great this thing. So I enjoyed that, and I started learning whatever the EPBX board was required, the qualification certification was required. I was also asked to do the web designing work, which I did a home page for MERC first site, and that was very good. So a lot of learnings.
It's interesting at this stage. I'd like to share with all the viewers how is it that I met Prajakta. So there was this major electricity issue going on many years back. This was, I think, 2006, 2007, and
Yes.
everyone had got very high bills, and there was things were not as transparent as they are right now, and not probably not as easy to get information. So we used to file RTIs, as RTI applications. I remember, I
So
remember I used to go to MERC to submit my RTI application, and that's where she was. So she was the one at the reception, stamping it and giving it to us, because in an RTI, for those of you who know, and of course Prajakta knows, the date on which it is stamped, on which it is received, is of course something which is very important, because that's the 30-day period that starts from there. So it was very important that you get it stamped, and that's where Prajakta was. So that's actually how I met her. She was very diligent. She would always do it, meticulously, and give it back. And Prajakta, I want to ask you, what made you study more suddenly after so many years? You had a good government job, and a government job, as we know, is a good job, as you realized also. What made you study suddenly?
So not suddenly. Actually, what happened? I was saying I could not get promotion there. I was to there after a few years. I realized that I'll be stuck doing the same job for years and years till my retirement. And I was having the better competencies, computer qualifications and other things. So it was a waste. And there was a lot of motivation from my bosses. I mean, the IS officers under whom I worked, they were always, praising me, and they said, "You're more fit for a private company." And then made me like, if I'm not getting a promotion here, and just because it's a secure job, should I continue doing that? Am I enjoying that when I'm capable of doing more things? In fact, I could upgrade myself better. So I did my MBA, so. And to compete with the present generation, with just BCom degree was not enough, and MBA was like, that time everybody wants to do MBA. So I said, okay, let's try. And luckily I got in Jamnalal Bajaj, the reputed institute, and where even people don't get, admissions also, and I got it. So I thought, now nothing looking back, I should do it. And that was very tough, sir, because part-time MBA is more tough. I did my part-time MBA, sir. So it was more tough, like going to office, managing home, children, and doing the presentations, assignments, college after evening, going home. I used to leave my house at 8 o'clock in the morning and reach home by 11 o'clock in the night. So
Wow.
it was very tough, sir. And during that period, I had challenges like my sister was admitted in hospital, some marriages, deaths in the family. All those things were very difficult. My daughter was unwell when the first return test, and main thing was challenge was writing a test. After so many years, writing theory paper was a big challenge. And I was like, and my daughter was sick. Very first paper. I thought, "Okay, I have to give up," but I had a lot of good people around me, and they were always motivating me. My professors were always supportive, and I could make it. So, and
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy I
So
could pass with distinction and got well into that.
super, fantastic. So now, after having worked in a government department for so many years, you suddenly are now in a very high-profile corporate job and working in a very different environment. Uh,
Yes.
did you have to make any changes to your lifestyle? Generally, what happens is people say that you work in a government department for many years. A certain culture gets developed, and then you
Right.
can't really fit in with everybody else and things like that. So, is that true? Did you have any such challenge like that, or was it really smooth for you and smooth for the people who you started working with also?
Right, sir. Challenges were there because I came from after 10 years. When you work in a government, you really don't, not open to new suggestions and ideas. You have to change yourself. So your thinking process has to change. So for me, it was also a challenge in the beginning because I was given a job of, getting the work done from the government people. I was into Department of Advocacy, where I was to meet corporators and MPs, MLAs, and get the work done. And being into government for 10 years, I was on the other side of the table, so it was very difficult for me to convince them. But yes, through my zeal, my determination, my good communication skills, I could make it, and they were very good and very very helpful. And Tata brand is always known to everyone. So that was very good for me. And I got a good, actually, HR has given me this opportunity. I'm thankful to HR for putting me to the right job for the right person, which is normally not happening. Most of the cases, what you deserve, what your competencies are, and you're doing something else. But for me, I am doing what I like, what I love doing it, like meeting people, convincing them, understanding their likes, dislikes, their hobbies, taste, and then
Yeah.
adjusting them, in this
Yeah.
thing day to day. So
Okay.
that was
If
once.
you if yeah, if you had the option to go back and do something very differently or change something, about your past, okay, what would that be?
My past. You change my
I
past
mean, if
means
you had to go back and change something about the way you did something, whether it was job, whether it was studies, whether it was dancing, whatever it is. If you were given the option to go back and change any one thing, what would that be?
I would have changed, sir. I would have gone back to my dancing, and I would have, continued doing that only, because now there is a lot of scope for, dance and music and all. During our times, it was not there. So for getting one show to done, to get myself on the stage, I have to spend the money from my own pocket. Costume ka kharcha karo, makeup karo, musicians ko karo. All that was not affordable for me that time. And today I
Yeah.
see ki array, so many things are so easily available for my children, for this present generation. So if I would have got the opportunity, I would have really done only that, so only dancing and music and drama and play and all those things. Because I'm good in
So
acting and dancing also, so I would have done that.
that's lovely. Prajakta, you have a teenage daughter now, who I'm sure is also watching you. Okay, you can
Yeah.
say hi to her. Okay, so what is it that you would tell your daughter, which is different from what your parents told you when you were growing up? Is there any difference? Of course, the times were different, but
Yeah.
you must have noticed it. I mean, as a child, as a daughter, you got certain guidance and advice from your parents, and now you're a mother and you have a teenage daughter in the house. So, do you see yourself telling her the same things, or do you see yourself telling her different things? What is it?
Same thing, same thing. She will not accept. They are brought into different culture altogether, and the different one. We had given everything what we couldn't get, so that so they are not used to this type of culture what we born to. So I will always say ki don't, since nowadays competition, everybody is just having your technical qualification not enough. You should have networking skills. You should have something extra, other than your basic qualification or whatever. So I just tell her to pursue whatever. Academics is fine, she's very good in that. But then other than that, music or whatever she has a passion to do, she should do that, and we are going to support her. So I never tell her ki, no, you should become a doctor, you should become a professional, or at least only music, nothing like that. Everything should be balanced in life, and you should have, means you should have a basic overview of everything what is there, because nowadays in job also you require all these things. You
Yeah.
have to have a package, कि थोड़ा ये भी आना चाहिए, technical also, your domain knowledge, plus you have expertise of networking, contact people, and how to manage things in the office, little bit of computer knowledge, your website ka, this everything you should know. And I think that is
So,
enough.
so,
And
uh,
learning
so,
learning is there.
yeah. So what you're saying is, in addition to just the academics and the skills, and you need to have a lot of soft skills. A lot of
Yes,
other
yes.
things that go along with it. Yeah. So that's
Soft
that's that's
skills
very true.
go hand in hand along with the technical skills.
Okay. Okay. So I think we are reaching the end of our 20 minutes now, and one last question. Okay. This is
Yes.
completely a wild one. So, if you are made the prime minister for a day, okay, what's the first thing you do? I mean, after crying and screaming out of the joy and everything, after all of that, what's the first thing you'd do?
Prime Minister. I'll tell him, sir, to change the.
No, no, you become the prime minister. You don't tell anyone. You become the prime.
I
Yes,
become
yes,
prime
you become the yes.
become prime minister.
You
So
become
if
prime
I,
minister for a day. What's the first thing you're going to do?
I would like to do for the old people a lot of things, because nowadays there's people, this type, old people are neglected, When I heard the stories about them, in fact, in Tadapur also in CSR, I always want to do this for the old people, they are the one who are, we try to neglect them, their loneliness, depression. So I want to do something for them. So as a prime minister, I'll introduce something for them, good schemes or something. Second, education system बदलूंगी, vocational trainings और practical trainings बहुत add करना है, because and so the main thing is that they are not teaching them, this what you call empathy भी आनी चाहिए, थोड़ा बहुत ये होना चाहिए कि they should know what value of money. In fact, I can say just they should teach the present generation the value of money, which we could only our generation, I think, next generation इसके बाद किसी को पता ही नहीं है. So I think that importance of education, उस तरफ का जो वैदिक क्लासेस होते थे वो सब स्टार्ट करने के लिए ट्राई करूंगी.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, Prajakta. I
That
know this was not easy for you, but I am very honored that you consented to come forward and share your story.
thank you
And
so much.
yes, no, the pleasure is completely mine. And to all of those who are watching, please do share your thoughts in the comments, and also share this video with others if you feel you like it. Since this show is more about our guests, there's no fixed day or time. This is just for the audience. There's no fixed day or time. It's at the convenience of the people who are working and at what time they'll be available. So we probably could end up doing this program maybe 2 or 3 times a week at different times. So if you like the page, you'll get to be informed about what's happening. And if you know somebody whose story can inspire, motivate, or even educate anyone of us, please use the link, use the same page, ask them to reach out to me. Thank you once again, Prajakta. Thank you very, very much
Thank you so much
for being on the show. And
thank you everyone for
yeah,
viewing me.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
been an honor.